Tone downs for your wedding, 33 weeks, and that's all it took. Jess had been training for years without her arms ever changing. She wore a dress very similar to this on her wedding day. Before she started, she wanted to return it, swap it for something with sleeves, because she couldn't handle the idea of her arms being out in every photo. She kept the dress, she lost 9 kilos, and after the ceremony she told me word for word, "I've never felt more confident in how I looked and felt. I can't even begin to describe it." Later in this video, I'm going to show you the exact phase where her arms began to change. It was 8 weeks, after years of training when nothing moved, so stay for that because it's the opposite of what most arm toning videos tell you. Picture this, you've bought the dress or tried one on. It's sleeveless, and now every time you catch yourself in the mirror, you zero in on one spot. The bit at the back, the bit underneath, bingo wings, or whatever you call it in your head. And the maddening thing, you've actually been training. You've been doing the classes, lifting weights and putting in hours, and your arms look the same as they did a year ago. That feeling of I feel like I'm letting myself down, I hear every single week on calls. Jess told me early on, I don't want to hide behind people, not at her own wedding, and certainly not in photos that she'd keep for the rest of her life. So here's Jess's story. She came to me 33 weeks out from her wedding. She was 167 centimeters tall and 67.5 kilos. And here's what most people would get wrong about her. She wasn't a beginner. She'd been doing resistance training, HIIT classes, and gym sessions. She knew what progressive overload meant. She'd been at this for years, and her arms hadn't changed. What she told me was, I want to get back in amazing shape, and I have the discipline. I just need the structure and support. That sentence told me everything. She wasn't asking me to push her, she was asking me to point her. The real picture, no calorie tracking, high sugar, especially evenings. Snacking she knew was a problem but just couldn't get a grip on. Training hard, eating okay-ish, and wondering why nothing was sticking. Sound familiar? She picked a sleeveless dress because she loved it, but then the panic set in. She started looking at dresses with sleeves, with wraps, anything to cover the thing that she was most self-conscious about. Nobody wants to hear this about arm toning. Your arms are not an arms problem. You want the exercise, the 3 moves, the do this every morning routine. And I'm gonna disappoint you because that's not how it works. Jess had been going to HIIT classes for years. Sessions that left her exhausted, heart rate through the roof, and her arms hadn't changed because a HIIT burns energy but it doesn't build upper body shape. Her weights hadn't gone up in months. She was doing the same movements, the same intensity week after week, and her body had stopped adapting long before she came to me. Arms change when your whole body composition shifts. Real calorie deficit, not the one you think you're in, the actual tracked one. Progressive overload that builds week on week, both long enough for the fat to reduce and the muscle underneath to actually show. Without tracking, Jess's sugar cravings and evening snacking were quietly erasing any deficit she thought she was in. She wasn't even in one. This was Jess exactly, training regularly and eating well without tracking, and watching her arms stay the same year after year. The effort was there, but the direction was not. What I built for brides like Jess is called the Bridal Transformation System. It's not about adding arm exercises to your week. It's about fixing the 3 things that actually make arms change. A structured program with progressive overload, protein high enough to build muscle, and a track deficit so you're actually losing fat. Not guessing, knowing. Now here's what 33 weeks actually looked like for Jess. Phase 1, foundation. We weren't trying to work her into the ground. We were building real consistency and dealing with the sugar patterns. Not banning anything, understanding when cravings hit and why. Then building around them. We got her tracking properly for the first time. She went from 68 to 66 kilos. That's 2 kilos. But the bigger thing, she had momentum. For the first time in a long time, something was actually moving. Phase 2, strength and intensity. Structured progressive overload built week on week, not lift heavier as a vague idea. A program with direction. Protein went up, sugar stayed managed. She dropped another 1.7 kilos. Her shape started shifting. Not just the number on her scale, but her body was changing. She went on holiday, and that's where it falls apart for most people. But Jess came back and didn't skip a beat. Phase 3, sculpt and shred. This is the phase I told you about. This is where the arms happened. Supersets targeting upper body and back, 12,000 plus steps a day, a tighter calorie deficit. She lost another 2.5 kilos in 8 weeks. And by her hen do in March, not her wedding day, her hen do, her arms and back were visibly lean. She wore a sleeveless top on purpose for the first time in years. She messaged me the morning after. I got so many compliments about how good I look. Arms out, no hiding, 2 months still to go until the wedding. Phase 4, pre-wedding peak. Targeted upper body isolation, core work, anti-bloat nutrition in the final weeks. She lost another 1.5 kilos. That's 9 kilos from where she started. Midway through phase 3 on a random Wednesday, Jess sent me this message. Big win. I wanted to lose 1 pound for my last check-in, and I already hit that goal and it's only Wednesday. That's someone that stopped feeling like weight loss just happens. She understood what was going on and why. She could feel the system working. At dress fittings, her arms were exactly where she wanted them to be. Wedding day, lowest weight she'd ever been. After the wedding, she told me, it still hasn't sunk in that I got to my goal weight and kept it there. Never ever thought that was possible. Years of training and arms that had never changed. 33 weeks with the right structure, and she said she'd never had more confidence in her life. I put together a free arms guide for brides. Same principles I used with Jess, DM me the word wed arms on Instagram and the link's in the description. And if you're sitting there thinking that's exactly where I am, I do free bridal transformation calls. Your timeline, your dress, your starting point, and what it would actually take. The link for that is in the description too. Jess walked into her wedding, sleeveless dress, arms out, and not a single thought about hiding. The woman that nearly swapped the dress didn't need a new dress. She just needed the right 33 weeks to become the bride that she wanted to be.